Everyone, welcome to The Working Progress. Yeah, I know the name, not the greatest, but know what? We're sticking with it. Too bad. Kiss our asses. I am one of your co-hosts, Mike Rooker. You can follow me at Maverick Mike. Or no, Maverick Rooker. Shit, I don't even know my Twitter handle. God damn, I'm an idiot. And with me is, hopefully going to be always, my co-host, Matt Breese.
What's going on, guys?
And you can follow him at mshiz90, I think.
Absolutely.
So since this is our first show, we're going to talk our thoughts on random bullshit of wrestling. We'll throw some eventual sports later. Probably when football starts, we'll throw some stuff in there. I don't watch UFC at all, so I probably won't say anything besides that Ronda Rousey's a badass. And I don't watch boxing either, sadly.
Well, nobody watches boxing, so.
True enough. So, alright. First of all, found an interesting rumor, or maybe a rumor or something. It was a poster I saw on Facebook of a triple threat match posted for SummerSlam. It has Cesaro, John Cena, and Kevin Owens for the U.S. title match. I gotta tell you, that sounds fucking amazing.
It does, but how do we get there? That's always the issue, is how you get there.
Well, if anyone watched this past Monday night, which was the 29th of June in the year 2015, yeah, so I know some people are going to go back, ooh, Attitude Era. No. No. This is PG era, and it's not that bad. So get over yourselves, Attitude Era, guys. I'm pissing a lot of people off right now.
Go for it.
Well, I don't care. It's our podcast. Who gives a shit? Oh, and by the way, this is explicitly required, so we will be swearing.
Definitely have the explicit tag on this one.
Honestly, I really wanted to be the first 30 seconds just saying the F word 30 different times, just to see if it's cut. All right.
And it's still a good sentence.
It works for everything. Fuck. Just ask South Park. Made a whole movie off the word F word.
True. Very true.
All right, but, well, as we saw Monday, Kevin Owens interfered in the match with John Cena and Cesaro, which Cesaro looked like he was going to make Cena tap, which everyone knows is never going to happen. He tapped once, and that was before he became John Cena. He was known as the Doctor of Thugonomics when he tapped the Kurt Angle. So,
God, that was so long ago.
You think? So, I mean, how we get there, I don't honestly know. But I'm not going to lie, that triple threat intrigues me to no end.
Oh, it'd be a hell of a match. I mean, we've seen what Cena and Owens can do. Why not see what Cena, Owens, and Cesaro can do?
We know Cesaro can work his damn ass off, that's for damn sure. I mean, you look at the matches with the Big Show, Mark Henry, Khali, and those are just big guys, but the strength Cesaro has almost no limits.
So much practical strength.
And it's not that John Cena I can put you on my shoulder. Cesaro's just like, nope, I'm going to body slam Big Show over that top rope at WrestleMania 30. I'm not going to lie, when I saw him do that, I'm just like, holy shit, it's Hogan and Andre all over again, except Cesaro can actually...
Now, thank God we don't have to deal with another Hogan.
We have John Cena, so...
Oh. Another Hogan. Would be the third incarnation of Hulk Hogan.
If you want to be technical, Cena's the third, Rock's the second, but Rock was just more...
Rock was never Hulk Hogan. He's way more entertaining. And can wrestle better.
I was just going to say more entertaining, but...
And his movies don't suck.
Yeah, well, there was Doom.
And the Tooth Fairy. But he also had the Rundown.
Oh, that was so good. He also had Walking Tall, his very first movie ever. Or no, Scorpion King. Let's say first major role. First major movie role. And that movie was just great. Why'd you pull me over, officer? Boom! Hits his... he had a broken taillight, and he hits his taillight with a freaking 2x4.
Ironically, it's your story.
Oh, yeah. Know what the real guy's name was?
I don't remember, actually.
Buford Pisser. Or was it Pusser? I don't know.
Either way, it's a great name.
I'll never name that kid that.
Why not?
It's the year 2015. You think they're gonna be like, accept him for that name? No.
You can at least go with Buford.
Buford? Really?
Yep.
Really?
Yep.
Really?
Buford T. Justice.
I love you, Matt, and I hate you all at the same time. And just for you don't know, I believe that was a Smokey and the Bandit reference.
It was. It was. There's nothing wrong with, Burt Reynolds. Come on now. You give or take Sally Field, but...
Let's face it, no one really cared about Bandit. They only liked the Iceman, I think it was.
Yep. He made the movie.
Very true. I think he also did
Him
the
and his damn dog.
The dog stole the show, and he didn't do a damn thing. Second one was horrible. The first one was just a freaking...
No, the third one was horrible. The second one was meh. The first one was classic.
The second one had a pregnant elephant.
Yeah.
First one was them trying to steal...
It was at least entertaining, though. Again.
Fair enough, but the
It's
first
at least
one...
entertaining. Like, movie-wise, no, it was pretty shitty, but...
I love how I love how we're going from wrestling straight to Burt Reynolds movies.
Well...
Not even recent ones. We're talking very old school. We're talking vintage Reynolds. And not Ryan Reynolds, either.
Don't even say vintage. That is banned.
Well, let me ask. We can say, "My God, what a slobber knock!" Business is picking up.
Exactly, but those are classics.
How about what a maneuver?
What a maneuver!
He's gonna puke.
Oh God.
Yes, welcome to Work in Progress, everybody, where me and Matt do nothing but bullshit. Literally.
Hopefully to entertain.
If you're not entertained by this, there's something wrong with you. You shouldn't even be watching wrestling.
Yeah.
I mean, let's face it. You have to be a Cena fan to hate us.
Oh, true. But nobody likes them anyways, mainly because they're 12 and they can't find this podcast either way.
Hey, fair enough.
But, no, back to the wrestling. Thought for you. And this was on when you were on Main Event Madness the other day, last week. You guys were talking about how the crowd came back for Roman Reigns towards the end of that match at WrestleMania 31.
Oh, you're talking if Seth never cashed in, correct?
Well, yeah, this is where it's going to go. But do you think the crowd would have fully came back on his side if that match went straight down, that Reigns cleanly beats Brock Lesnar? Do you think the crowd fully goes back? I think they do, but...
I would like to say they do, but if it's just after that slap and it's those 3 punches and Roman spears him like twice or even 3 more times and he pins him, no.
But you got to remember, when that whole thing was going down, Brock catches him on the 3rd spear, I think it is. He catches him and hits him with the F5. So they're both out after that.
Fair enough. I'm gonna say Brock gets a little dizzy because he's not down for the count after those punches because he's able to F5 him. So
right.
I think he rolls out of the ring, correct? Seth doesn't kick him out.
Yes, Seth hits him with the curb stomp and then he rolls out of the ring.
All right, so he's still disoriented. So let's say
Roman hits him with the spear and he rolls out of the ring. My bad. Because he catches Seth on the 2nd curb stomp. Roman spears him, and he rolls out, and then Seth hits Roman with the curb stomp.
Right. So either way, he rolls out of the ring because of Seth's interference.
Right. So they're still down in the ring, 10 count going on, before Seth comes in.
Okay, I'm going to say Brock gets to his feet first. At this point, he's probably a little pissed. So he decides to pick up Roman by his long freaking hair. And I'm not going to say he's going to say Suplex City again, but I think he's going to pick him up, try to go for a suplex. This time, Roman elbows him in the head, gets his elbow all bloody because Brock's busted open completely at this point, which just made the match more great in my opinion.
Oh, absolutely. That's why we need blood back. And I'm not saying like a blood bath, but
oh yeah, we don't need the whole
once or twice a year, and
we don't need the flare.
Oh,
we don't need flares bleeding.
That's a different time. I'm just saying, once a year, in a deep, one of those deep-rooted feuds, like a Cena-Orton feud or something, throw some blood in there. It makes it a little more entertaining.
Or
it brings the impact of the rivalry together.
Like the match with Lesnar and Roman. Let's face it, if Brock did not get cut, that match wouldn't have been as intense as it seemed. At least in my opinion.
True. Although, watching that match back, that match was so much more brutal watching it on TV than it was live.
Because Roman took, as Paul Heyman loves to state, he was going to take an ass kicking. And holy shit, did he.
Oh, God, he absolutely did.
All right, so back to the question. I'm going to say he picks him up. I'm going to say he gets off 1 or 2 suplexes. Roman's like, no, I'm done taking suplexes. Going to elbow him. Immediately go for a punch. Lesnar backs up again, or he backs up into the ropes. Tries to go for a clothesline, which we don't see from Brock very often. Roman ducks, hits the ropes again, spears Lesnar. Lesnar gets right back up, spears Lesnar again. He spears him again, and hits 4 of them on him. 4 consecutive spears, and now Lesnar's just down for a count. Not sure how long yet. We'll say 6. He's like, oh, finally, I'm doing some damage. But Roman's pretty much God damn, I can't knock him down. At this point, I'll say Brock goes for an F5, but as he flips him, this is just me trying to make the match. Roman decides to punch him with a Superman punch in mid F5. Now, tell me that's not an interesting thing to see, because you see Roman nowadays, you see when someone does a diving move, he's just like, yep, Superman punch in the air.
It'd be very interesting. And my only problem with what you're going with is just the overuse of finishers. Like, at this point, we had already seen, 3 F5s before Rollins cashed in?
Yeah.
And two spears? So, you're tacking on at least one more F5 and 4 more spears.
Oh, as WWE has built Lesnar, he's a beast.
True.
So and let's face it,
But he's already taken an ass whooping through the whole match. I mean, Roman's already got him down for a good point when Rollins comes in.
and
So that's... But through that match, I should say, like, even though all that's happened, I still would only like to see it end on one more finisher. Maybe a couple Superman punches.
Well, here's my reasoning behind this. At the Royal Rumble, he took 3 AAs, at least 2 curb stomps, was put through the damn Spanish announce table, still got back on his feet, and was still able to kick some ass.
Yeah, but after he got put through the Spanish announce table, he was there for like 20 minutes. Like, that match was like a 30-minute match, and he was laying on the table for 30.
Fair enough. But
I was about to say, like, all but like 10 minutes of that match was he not laying outside because he got taken out.
All right, fair enough. I'll give you that. Okay. All right, so obviously you're seeing my problem with mine. How would you try to do this?
How would I try? Well, that's I would like to see Lesnar get a little more desperate through the match. Like, as the match would go on, see him get a little more like, how do I put him away? I mean, I've hit him with 3 F5s. He's still got up. I've hit him with how many suplexes,
I think he hit 6 by that time,
Yeah.
honestly.
He was up 6, 7, somewhere in there. He was up there. But I'm just saying, like, see him be a little more desperate. See, maybe a go behind and, put him on the ground real quick and try to grind him out or something. Something we haven't seen out of Brock in a while. I think that would make it better for the fans. And I think it would have fully put the fans on Roman's side. I'm just saying that, like, back to the original I think the fans would have got on Roman's side. But with that, does it make it a mistake to have Rollins cash in at that point?
If Roman wins cleanly, have Rollins cash?
If working theoretically off the basis that at least 3/4 of that Mania crowd gets back on Roman's side, winning cleanly, does that make it a mistake for Rollins to cash in that night? Like, I understand it set him up on this good, pretty good heel run. I won't say it's great, but it's been a pretty good heel run. And all this. And it may work out for Roman better in the long run. But is it a mistake to have him cash in?
I'm going to say...
Or was it a mistake, I should say. Because, I'm
going to say no, because I won't say it's a mistake that he didn't cash in. I think it was on perspective, from what we have now to what we had then, or what we could have had, I'm going to say no, it was a better decision for him to cash in that night and cut off Roman Reigns, because now Roman has a little more freedom. Because now they're just like, yeah, Roman, we need you to be this guy. Now they're just like, Roman, we don't need you to be this, but we need you to try to be something a little bit. Try to be this, but do it your way now. Instead of just like, yeah, come on, get here. It's like, no, we want you here. It's like, he's like, no. Now I'm going to take it my way, and they're letting him do that. At least that's what I'm seeing.
Well, we've discussed off air. I feel he is more him than he has ever been, except for when he was in the Shield. Because when he was in the Shield, he didn't have to do anything besides stand there, give a cheesy smile once in a while, and beat some ass. That was just fantastic.
All right. Now, speaking of the Shield now, as I mentioned on the podcast before, on previous Main Event Madness podcast with John and Al, I mentioned booking a future WrestleMania event. I mentioned what matches would we like to see. Would we rather see on one side Triple H, Stone Cold, Steve Austin, and The Rock versus the entire Shield which was Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Roman Reigns. Now, let's say we're going to build that match. Let's say we're going to try to build the entire WrestleMania card around this match, because this is going to be the main event. The second to main event will be the World Heavyweight Championship match. But now, the question I have for this now is, who's the babyface in that six-man tag? I'm going to have to give it to the Shield.
I think you let the fans decide. Truthfully, I don't think you go in designating. I think you go in and go, here's the pieces I'm working with, and judging by, say you started the Rumble, judging by their reactions going forward is how you book the match. Like, I think you leave that kind of fluid, because, I mean, Rock, Austin, Triple H know what they're doing. They can, move and flow when they need to. I think it would, you just go in and go.
So would you take more of a Shield Wyatt with this? Pretty much, the Wyatts weren't necessarily heel, but they had that mystique to them, while the Shield were like just complete badasses, but also
a little bit, but it would be more of the the current generation versus the old generation. I mean, I know we've seen that play out a few times, but you literally have the three biggest guys from the last generation, and probably the three biggest guys from what history will tell us is this generation. I mean, being the Shield, it looks like they're going to be set up to be literally the cornerstone of the future of the WWE. So
this is all stemming from a meme I saw, which is Seth Rollins is the new Triple H, Dean Ambrose is the new Stone Cold, and Roman Reigns is the new Rock. Now, do I think those are complete comparisons? Absolutely not. I do see Seth Rollins as a new Triple H slightly. I don't see Dean Ambrose as much as a Stone Cold as everyone says he is, and Roman is nowhere near as charismatic as The Rock.
But he doesn't have to be either.
No. The Rock is The Rock. I mean, no one's going to touch him. Same like no one's going to touch Hogan. Cena's the closest thing we have to a Hogan we've got. But even then, Cena's Cena. At least in my opinion. As much as I like to rag on the guy, Cena is Cena. So now that being so, okay, we essentially, but it's like this is pretty much where this is going to go wherever it goes. So now, who do we put in a world title match? Now, this is all just like pure fantasy here, so it's like we can bring up any NXT, anyone on the roster. We can bring anyone back that's currently technically on roster. However, depending on where we book this. So we want to say what? WrestleMania 33? 32? 33? We'll go 33, 34. We'll book a little ahead of time. So, alright, so we were talking about we booked our main event, the six-man tag. Now we're booking the World Heavyweight match. Who do we put in it first?
It's tough. By that point, I'm probably looking at a Kevin Owens being in the title match.
Okay, because this is 32, 33, you give or take.
Right. So I'm figuring by 33, he'll probably be up there. So, I mean...
Okay, so let's try only make two of the same matches. Like if we have two triple threats or two tags or one fatal four-way or something, that's allowed, but let's try to keep it as one-off as we can. So what kind of match do we want? Do we want singles or do we want to try a triple threat?
I'd do a straight-up singles match.
Straight-up singles? So we got Kevin Owens on one side. He's probably going to be the heel, because I think he just plays that...
He works too well as a heel. He works way too well. I mean...
he could probably do well as a babyface, but as a heel right now, he's...
Right. I mean, he's just killing it right now with his heel. He can pull off a babyface. It's not that he can't.
You got to have him...
just... Right where he is now, I think he's going to, for the near future, he'll be a heel.
He'll probably flip to a babyface, and then he'll probably flip back to a heel.
Well, yeah.
So who do we put him with then? Because we're doing a main event, or not, a heavyweight title match. Mm-hmm. So who do we want? I don't want to do an NXT rematch.
Greedy? I want to see Dolph Ziggler.
That'd be one hell of a match. And that's a title match, so they'll have a little bit more time to run.
They'll have about a half an hour. You figure 30-plus minutes. Go.
I was going to say, because we're going to pull from a roster. We'll allow part-timers for certain matches. We'll allow up to
I really think I only have one other part-timer I want to use.
Taker.
Okay,
so we'll allow up to 5.
Right.
Okay, because we used 3 in one freaking match. So that's kind of... That limits our options, like, immediately.
Right.
So we got Owens and Ziggler, huh? Honestly, I'm not sure. I like Ziggler and Owens, but I feel like Ziggler and think Ziggler and Zayn could do a hell of a match. But I'm not.
They could. They would. I think they would tear the house down.
As a main event,
I would like the play of Kevin Owens, because Kevin Owens would be able to physically dominate him a little more. You know what I mean? Like, it wouldn't be just straight up athlete, speed and all that. It would be a little play. I mean, he's not huge. I mean, I'm not trying to build Kevin Owens up to be the next Brock Lesnar. But there's enough of that physical size difference that it could work to play. But, Zayn, I just don't see it with Zayn. I love the guy. I don't see him being a main eventer, though. It's just...
I see him as a main event, but...
I see him upper mid-card, at best. Like, he'll float around, and at the end of his career, he'll probably have 3 or 4 title reigns, but he's not going to be in there a lot. Not that I'm saying Ziggler or Owens are going to stay in there either. I think Owens has a better shot than Ziggler does, but
Okay, all right. I'll go with you on this one. All right, so now let's do... Now, this is no way in order of the card, but just these 2 matches. And then our next one, what would we open with the show? Forget pre-show. I'm not the pre-show's not bad, but this is main WrestleMania now. This is from 8 p.m. to 11 p.m. No, let's make this a special. Let's go 7:30 WrestleMania to 11 WrestleMania. So we got a little more time to work with.
By this point, they might purely only be on the network because, I mean, they already got over the 1 million subscribers. So it's not out of the realm of possibility they tack on an extra half hour. But opening the card,
I was thinking pay-per-view starts at 8. It's pretty much a pay-per-view Raw. But we're starting half an hour early for the main card, essentially.
But I don't know. That's kind of.
I don't know. The opening is always a gray area.
I feel like I would do a multi-team tag match, like a 4-corner elimination tag or something like that.
That's what I was thinking. Honestly,
give me, because I see this. I see Enzo and Cass being up by this point, so give me them in one corner. The Lucha Dragons in another corner. The Usos, and who else would I want up? Give me Kid and Cesaro, because I think they'll still be floating around in a tag team at this point.
I'll give you...
As Kid and Cesaro coming in as the champs.
Give me Enzo and Cass, most definitely. They're entertaining as hell. I can't wait for them to be brought up, because that's just going to be like how you doing every single Raw.
We're marks. We're not going to lie on that one.
Oh, absolutely not. Or else we'd be SAWFT. Soft.
That's a fact, Jack.
And you can't teach that.
True.
I will take the Lucha Dragons as well. Don't give me the Usos.
You don't want the Usos? You're not buying the Usos?
I don't. I'm not. Because we essentially have the Lucha Dragons and we have 2 high flyers.
But the Usos aren't true high flyers. That's why they intrigue me. They can fly, but they could also be on the ground too, because they're not small guys. You know what I'm saying? Like, Kalisto's what, 5'7", 170 pounds soaking wet. Like, I mean, you look at both Usos; they're both 6 foot tall, and neither one of them are. I think they're both probably around the 230 area, 240. Like, they're not small guys. They can ground and pound when they need to ground and pound.
See, I'd rather see like
And that's why I think WWE was trying to saddle up to them for the tag division.
Give me you almost sold me on the Usos, but I'd rather see like well, I'm not sure, because I know I want the Ascension in there.
You want the New Day, don't you?
I'm not going to lie, I almost said...
The power of positivity.
I almost said New Day, just because they would just be like... Just to see the team of Xavier Woods, Big E, and Kingston on the mics versus Enzo and Cass on the mics.
Oh, okay. They would get slaughtered. I'm sorry. I love Xavier. He can actually talk. Big E can when he wants to, it feels like. I don't know if he can or he can't. Like, he's somewhere in between. I love Kofi, but that man could never talk on a mic. And Enzo would just cut all 3 of them to shreds. Like,
1 + 1 is 3.14. Time to eat your pie.
Like Cass, on the other hand, like if you let Cass talk, they could go with Cass, and it would be less entertaining, but they could go. But Enzo would just cut him to shreds.
Very true, but that's why it'd be so entertaining, because you can see Enzo, it's like, what are you 2 dudes talking to? Are you guys stupid or something?
Oh,
That was a horrible Brooklyn accent. I do apologize.
that was pretty rough.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I do apologize to Enzo and Cash if you ever listen to this podcast.
Mad love.
And you ain't soft.
But anyways, back to you. So
I got the Luchas.
You got Enzo and Cass, and you got the Ascension you said
Yeah,
you wanted.
I got
So are you going with 3 or are you going with 4?
I'm gonna go with 4, but give me because we got give me if they're still together, give me Luke Harper and Eric Rowan.
I can see that.
Because
It'd be an interesting twist in the match.
I mean, let's face it, you got essentially I have all NXT alumni there, but
Yes, you do.
you've seen
But that's not a bad thing, and that's going to become more relevant. They're more, what do I say, prevalent as we move forward because everybody's coming up from NXT.
True.
So we're going to end up seeing a lot of these.
This is
feuds.
probably going to be the first WrestleMania we'll see. It was the first WrestleMania like 32. No, 33.
I was supposed to say, I think 33 or 34 is going to be the first true NXT heavy WrestleMania. But we're already getting there too. I mean, we had a lot of NXT guys in last year's WrestleMania.
Very true.
Or former NXT guys, I should say.
But Eric and Rowan have pretty much been established in the tag team division before with their feud with the Usos, which was
Right.
fantastic.
It was.
The first singles match and the 2 out of 3 falls match they had at Money in the Bank, I think it was 2 years ago or a year ago.
About.
Watch that tag match and you'll
I
realize
think it was 2 years ago now that I think about it. But either way.
it's a great freaking tag match. So those guys can obviously work their asses off. So I think it'd be an interesting dynamic, and you go with the fatal or the elimination rules, but anyone can tag anyone in essentially.
Well, yeah.
Who's? I think my champs at this time though are going to be the Ascension.
Really?
I'm not sure how it gets.
See, I'm not buying them that much in the main roster. I love them at NXT, don't get me wrong. But they seemed dwarfed when they came up to the main roster. Like, they were big guys in NXT, but when they got to the main roster, it just seemed... And I don't know if it's the whole, knockoff LOD gimmick or if they just not themselves. There's just not that swagger they had when they were down at NXT. Like, if they were built anywhere close to where they were in NXT, which they started to do, but they had them all that goofy-ass face paint and
they try to make
those weird leather...
They try to make them the Road Warriors, is what they essentially
Right, that's what I
did.
said,
And I'm not going to blame the Ascension for that, but that's a failed gimmick right there.
Well, it is for them.
I was going to say, when you try to
it worked once, but also LOD had something special, and they came up at a different time period, too. So, I mean, they didn't have to actually wrestle. I love LOD, but those guys were nowhere near technical mastery of anything.
Oh, no, they were hard
other than
hitters.
Coming out, going, ooh, what a rush, and then clotheslining their people to death, and then walking back to the back and having a beer.
Which, for the time, was entertaining as hell. It
still is entertaining. I go back and watch them, and it's still entertaining. But it's also different at that time.
Exactly.
There's never going to be anything like that, because they're the only ones that can make that work.
Why don't we put since LOD was completely different, but put a mic man with them. Because they're not great talkers at the same time. But if you give me what was the LOD's manager? The guy who looked practically like a devil. I can't think of his name.
Paul Ellering?
Yes. You give me someone like him. Give me I almost want to say give me a Paul Heyman. Pretty much it's like I have my singles competitor here. Now I'm gonna give a tag team a run here. I'm gonna give a tag team the praise it deserves. And I'm going with the Ascension.
I could see that. I don't know if it would play as well as you want it to, but I could see that.
Because I don't know what else we could do. The last time we had a mic man for a tag team was Zeb Coulter with the Real Americans, which was fantastic, but it worked because of the gimmick.
Well, I mean, it's got to work with the gimmick either way.
Yeah,
so, I mean,
but I think Paul Heyman, because he's that...
What I truly would like to see is start establishing some managers. Get a guy like Corey Graves, who I love who's announcing.
Oh, he's great on the mic.
But let him have his own quote-unquote Heenan family. Have him let him have his own family. Let him get guys together. Let him have 6 guys. It adds more intrigue. We need to get more managers in there.
Problem is, I
get AW back. So what? He makes a Kobe rape joke every once in a while. It was funny.
let's face it, we have a rapist in the Hall of Fame.
Oh.
or convicted rapist or whatever. I'm not sure how that went. I didn't watch boxing, but Mike Tyson.
Oh, that's Tyson. Yeah, that's a subject unto its own. But
all right, we'll leave that alone then. All right. What about There's not many people who can work the mic in WWE. I forgot.
There are, but a lot of them are wrestling.
I think Jim Ross and Stone Cold said it best. He's like, it's because they're wrestling instead of sports entertainment that they're no longer factored much. Unless you're like Paul Heyman, where the guy who needs a mic man needs technically a manager, but you play him as an advocate.
But you can make it work though. Like, I mean, yes, it was very gimmicky back in the day when they had managers. I mean, you had Slick, who was like the weird preacher guy, like
who managed the freaking Undertaker at one point, which is weird.
No.
Yeah, he did.
No, you're thinking of Brother Love.
Oh, my bad.
Who was weird onto his own. I don't even want to get started on Brother Love.
That's a whole nother tangent for a whole nother episode.
Oh, God. God. But no, I'm just saying, like, the family's situation. Like, Slick, he was, that cool. But, I mean, it was hard to get guys with him. That's why One Man Gang turned to Akeem, which was a dreadful gimmick. I mean, that wasn't even entertaining back then. But, I mean, you got, 6'7", 400-pound white guy acting like he's African. Come on now. But, I mean, like, with
South
Heenan...
African.
Yes. But with Heenan, it worked. Like, and it wasn't just because Heenan could talk, but he played a different role with every guy he was in. Like, with Mr. Perfect, he played that, I don't really need to be here, but I'm here to watch his back, basically. Like, I'm going to help him win no matter what. I'm just kind of a trainer type of thing. But then you go with, like, Andre, where he was the quote-unquote advocate. You know, he played a different role, and that's what you need to see out of guys. Like, if I'm putting Corey Graves with guys, he's not going to be the same person if I put him with a Baron Corbin as if I put him with Roman Reigns. He's going to play two different guys. But you can't just keep him the same guy. And I think that's why it failed for Heyman when he had Cesaro and Ryback and Curtis Axel. Because he tried to be Paul Heyman like he is with Brock Lesnar. When he needed to be different, but still be Paul Heyman.
To the extent it worked with Cesaro for a bit, but the problem is Cesaro was getting over, because that was after WrestleMania 30, and Cesaro was getting over because of that stunt he pulled with
Cesaro was getting over because of the swing, and just because he was fresh. Like, he still is fresh, but they won't let him. They took the swing away from him already.
No, they haven't. He used it on...
He got it back, but they took the swing away. Go back and watch the last year of him wrestling. He doesn't do the swing. He got it back because him and Kid started doing it as a tag team move. But they tried to get him over his heel. He wasn't working as a heel. Why did you need to make him a heel? If they were just like, you know what, go full-fledged on Cesaro being a face, he would be in the main event right now.
I can see him in the main event.
With Paul Heyman, he would be in the main event.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But that's just me.
All right. So,
but we digress.
So my ascension is going to be my tag still, and then I'm having Enzo and Cass go over at Mania. I'm sorry. I need, if they win at Mania,
it'd be a great coming out party.
Exactly. It's essentially what I'm going to. It's like, Enzo, Cass, congratulations, you're winning the tag titles at WrestleMania. Bada boom, realest guys in the room, or this time it'd be the realest guys at WrestleMania. And not gonna lie, if they're going to do a backstage segment, I need them to have Enzo and Cass. She's like, you guys just won your tag team titles. What are you going to do next? She's like, we're going to Brooklyn. We're going back home. We're going to celebrate.
It would be great. I'm not going to lie. I'd love it. So we have the big main event match, the big 6-man match.
Yep.
We have our title match booked already.
Yep.
And we have a big opening match. So what do you book in between? You're probably going to have about 3 or 4 matches in between. What are we booking in between?
All right.
Figure a woman's match has to be in there somewhere.
Okay.
And you got
the IC.
You figure both titles will have to be on there somewhere.
Yep.
And then you could have one throwaway match, which I'm using on Taker. I can tell you that much.
Okay.
So we'll start theoretically how they would probably build it. So let's go U.S. title.
U.S. title?
Right after the tag match. U.S. title.
Give me a triple threat. Give me a one corner. Tyler Breeze, I'll think, be brought up.
Okay.
I don't see him as an IC. I could see him competing for the IC title, but I see him that going as a Ziggler route.
By the way, just quick aside, speaking of Breese and Ziggler.
Uh-huh.
It was funny. I was watching, what was it, Survivor Series 2012, I think it was, when the Shield debuted. It was 2012, 2013. I can't remember which year. I think it was 2013 now that I think
I believe it was 2012 because then later that year.
But either way.
Actually, I think it was 2011.
No, it wasn't 2011.
Because I know Punk was still there.
Yeah, he was. But I think it was 2012. Because 2011 was the lead-in to Rock Cena 1.
You're possibly
Whereas
right.
this was the lead-in to Rock Cena 2, where he was a heel Punk at that point. So, watching, I think it was either that Survivor Series or the year before. I'm not sure. It might have been the year before, because I think I confused the years on that one. But either way, Ziggler was U.S. champ at the time. And I was just watching him and how stiff he was. And this was shortly after I watched this past week's Raw. And it's funny, they were trying to build him like Shawn Michaels. They're kind of doing it with Tyler Breeze, too. And they're both trying to get that weird niche. But the more I've been watching Ziggler and the more they let him be him, is ironically the more point that he's starting to become more of Shawn Michaels. Like, go watch him on this last week's Raw. He's got that, ooh, I'm just doing my thing and I'm sexy and da-da-da-da. Like,
just sexy boy.
He very much looked like Shawn Michaels. Like, I just found
they both look like Shawn Michaels. Let's be fair. The long blonde hair.
Tyler's got the over-the-topness of Shawn.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
He's got the loud,
whole showboating.
Weird, yeah, he's got all that. Ziggler, I think, is closer to him in the ring. And if you could, and I think that proves that Shawn's that more special, is that you can't have one guy be Shawn, they have to have two. But anyways, back to you talking about Tyler Breeze being in your title match.
Nice. So we got him in one, and then give me. I'm trying to think who we got now. Give me Dean Ambrose.
Okay.
Because I think he's going to fall a little bit, and I wouldn't mind seeing him as a couple-time mid-card champion, obviously.
Go back to the title he already had.
Exactly. I wouldn't.
Although he never defended it.
Let's face it, that's WWE booking. And it's
he was in the Shield and he was in the main event spotlight at that point. I get why he didn't defend it. It's just funny that he had it for like 7 months and defended it twice in that 7 months.
I love how
one being a loss that he lost the title on.
And the funny thing is, they never stripped him of that because of that 30-day rule.
Right, and that drives me nuts. They apparently don't have that anymore, but that drives me nuts. But
well, technically they extended it for Brock Lesnar, but that's a whole other freaking debacle.
Well, that's because they can't afford to keep him on the contract.
So then we got Breeze.
You got Breeze and Ambrose.
Throw me in.
Are either one of them coming in as the reigning defending U.S. champion?
No, my third one's going to be my champion.
Okay.
Give me. I'm trying to think who they're using constantly right now that would still probably be there. That's a singles competitor.
Remember, of guys we haven't used yet, we still have Randy Orton on the playing field. You still have John Cena. You still have Sheamus, Neville. You got a lot of guys that you haven't used yet.
Nope.
Now, I'm not saying that you need to use them, but I'm just saying. You
Give
got
me
a lot of
Neville
guys
in that
board.
triple threat now. You got Tyler Breeze, Dean Ambrose, and Neville. You've got the high flyer. You got the guy who's willing to do whatever bumps he wants to freaking do, and you have Tyler Breeze, who's not a bad in-ring technician.
Not at all. He's actually
or the showboating. You got him.
He's smooth though. That's what helps him.
Yeah.
But
and honestly, obviously they're all NXT alumni still. I think our Mania tonight, or the one we're building, is probably going to be nothing but almost NXT guys.
Well, but again, that's why we're discussing. At that point, it's probably going to be nothing but NXT guys.
And honestly, I'm
not complaining by that either, because NXT is by far the best wrestling show on TV right now for me. My money's worth.
People will debate ROH and
Lucha.
which is fine.
And nobody's debating TNA.
Exactly. Well, as you like to state, TNA probably won't make it to the year.
I still don't think they will.
All right.
But I said that last December, November. But
okay, so there's my other title match. No, give me a throwaway match. No, don't give me a throwaway match yet, because this is the matches people are going to try to most likely be invested in.
All right.
So what's your U.S. title match then?
My U.S. title match, I will go with. I say John Cena still floats around the U.S. title. I think he still holds that for a few more, not consecutive years, but he'll compete for that for a little while.
Okay.
I think they're going to try to get him out of the main event more. So I'll give me John Cena straight up one-on-one with, let's see, get something fresh in there. You know what? Give me Hideo Itami with John Cena.
Wow, talk about the clash of styles right there. holy shit.
I just think it would work. I really do.
I'm not going to say it doesn't pique my interest, but I'm not sure how well it would work. But
Listen, you got the Clash of Styles. You got by this time, an even older John Cena, who's slow, but he's big and powerful, against the smaller, who still pretty old, not going to lie. But the small, quick, fast, technical wrestler
hard kicking
of Hideo Itami. So it's going to be the whole speed and power matchup. I think they'll work well because they both sell. I mean, as much as I rag on John Cena, and you'll probably hear this throughout the podcast, but he does work. I mean, it works. So I just think it would work well.
Okay, I'm not going to say it's not interesting, but okay. All right, so then our Divas match now. Give me a... I know there's been a Fatal 4-Way before. Actually, no, give me a singles match. Give me Sasha Banks on one side.
Okay.
And give me... Actually, I'm going to tweak this a bit. We'll probably see this at Battleground, but this is what I would like to see. Give me a Divas Lumberjack match for the Divas title. I'm representing pretty much the NXT Divas and future generations. No, I got a better match in mind later in the night. But give me Sasha Banks on one side, and then on the other, give me Brie Bella. Now, hear me out. It's more personality-wise. It's pretty much seeing who's the baddest diva on the roster. Let's face it. Nikki's got heat. I can't believe I just said Nikki Heat, but whatever. But let's face it.
She does. I mean, it may not be the best heat, but she does have heat.
Exactly. So it's pretty much... And as we see on Raw, and I hate to even mention it, Total Divas, but let's face it, she's the one you pretty much want to hate.
Yeah.
Sasha Banks...
I want to hate her. And I do.
Sasha Banks will make you hate her, but at the same time, you'd be like, you're fucking amazing. You are the boss, literally. And essentially, the two divas want the Divas title. And Nikki's going to hold it. Nikki's probably going to keep that title till Cena fucking retires, or she retires.
No. I think she's losing that title and going to be shuffled off into the sunset sooner than you think. But
true. But
I would rather see her get shuffled off into a manager role, if you want my honest opinion. I think she could be a great valet manager, because she could get heat.
Kind of like Vicky did for Ziggler, essentially.
Yeah.
Okay.
I don't think she'll work as well as Vicky did right now, but given time, I think she could get at least on Vicky's level.
Okay. All right. Fair enough. But no, so it's essentially the current divas we have now, and then we got the NXT divas on one side, surrounding the ring as these two battle out to see who's the better diva. Nikki's the champ. Sasha wins, and then she's like, "You see this Divas title?" Nah. Tosses it and brings back like the old women's title back. I'm sorry,
like the '90s women's title, or like the one Medusa dropped in a trash can.
I'm not gonna. I feel like if she took the one from the trash can, that would put even more heat on her. It's like, yeah, this title that meant jack shit to them I'm going to make it worse something again. And not to mention that would bring it to a level. Let's face it, any Divas title we have is better than the Tramp Stamp that we have now.
True.
Hell, I'll take the women's NXT title over that.
I'll give you that. So, I like the women's NXT title. I'm not gonna lie.
I just like the women's title. I just like the women's wrestling in NXT better.
Well, who doesn't?
So then, so that's gonna be my Divas title match. All right, so back to Max Pit, but actually, I just thought of a better overall Divas match. At WrestleMania 31, you saw them interview Lita and Team Besties, and they were talking about versus Team Bella. Screw the Bellas. I'd rather see Trish and Lita on one side, and then on the other side, give me... I would like the contrast between Paige and, honestly, Sasha Banks. I think Sasha has more of that rough edge to her, while Paige is more the technical side. And let's face it, Lita's kind of like a high-flying diva. I'm not sure how luchador she can go now, but...
Well, she's still in great shape, and she didn't leave because of injury or anything. So, I mean, I'm assuming she could still probably go. If she wanted to, I mean...
Same with Trish. She probably lost some of her sparks, but again, you give them enough time to train, I guarantee they can still put it. not the greatest Divas match we've ever seen, but enough where it's like...
I don't think it would be bad.
Oh, it'd be better than we have been having.
True. Got to give it time, too. But
True.
just throwing that out there before you set that in stone, that kills all 5 of your part-timers.
Yeah, that was the only problem I had with that. So that was the other thing. So, but I'm gonna go with my lumberjack match though.
All right.
But that was my other match I could do. So
right.
your Divas match.
My Divas match, triple threat match for the title: Sasha, Charlotte, and Paige. But it is a submission-only match.
Oh, wow. That is...
Especially with Charlotte starting to use her figure 8 or whatever she's calling it. I think it would work really well.
What is Sasha's? I can't remember. Is that the...
what does she call that? The bank statement or something like that?
Yeah, what the... Is it pretty much like a crossface?
It's a crossface. It's a modified crossface.
Okay, I wasn't sure what it was.
Yeah.
And then Paige's got the PTO.
Yeah.
Paige Tappa, which I can't stand.
The name?
So, yeah, I don't. The name just doesn't like grab me. But
it's not bad though. I mean, it could be
a Divas. No, you want to? That's a match. I'm willing. All right, no, what? Point to you. Point to you, my friend.
See, I'm just saying. I think it would be a great match, especially with all 3 of them
going for submissions.
Using submissions.
That's a technical match. You want to show Divas can fucking wrestle? You put that match on.
Put that on the main stage, especially knowing that Sasha and Charlotte. We've seen them go at it. They put on a great match alone. I don't think I've seen Paige have a bad match when given the time. I mean, she's had some rough ones on Raw. Don't get me wrong.
But that's
going back to like her NXT stuff. Like I've never seen a bad match out of her on NXT, and it's not like you just lose that. So
No.
I think it would work well together.
Yeah, you win that one. Shit. All right, now
so on paper we'll have 2 matches left. You can IC title and then a
throwaway.
Whatever. No, nothing's.
These are pretty much
match.
These are pretty much matches where you don't want to miss a freaking night of it or miss a minute of it.
I think right now on paper this would be a great WrestleMania.
Are you kidding me? You put this on Texas Stadium, that's going to sell out.
Oh god, yeah. I still think Texas Stadium is going to sell out no matter what.
Oh, it's WrestleMania. You've experienced it firsthand, so you know the feeling.
That was an amazing feeling. There's literally nothing in the world like it.
All right.
Absolutely nothing.
So now let's book the IC match.
Okay.
You first. No, you go first.
Me first? All right.
You go first this time. I'm going to try to see if I can top you.
All right.
Which is going to be a task and a freaking half.
Let's see. I'm working for the IC title. Dude. That's tough. With the guys I got left, it's kind of tough to go with. Give me Orton as the reigning champ.
Okay. Has he ever held the IC title? Oh, yes. Once.
Yes. A few times.
Has he?
He held it in Evolution. He held it a couple times. Well, he held it a couple times in there. I think he held it maybe before Evolution, too. I'm not really sure about that. But I know he held it a couple times through Evolution, lost it, won it back, stuff like that. But
I forgot he won it. He was in Evolution with it. I just can't remember if he's won it more than once though. But
I think he did. But either way,
continue on.
So I think I'm just going to go with a straight up match on this one.
Singles?
Yeah, just straight up singles match. It's hard to pick an opponent for him that he already. I don't want something we've seen already. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So, you know what? Give me an introduction to Baron Corbin. This will be his first WWE match. Baron Corbin, managed by Corey Graves.
Oh, shit. I completely forgot about Corbin, too. God.
Going for the title. Baron Corbin against Randy Orton for the title with Corey Graves and Baron Corbin's corner. With Corbin winning the title that night.
And let's make this one thing perfectly clear. If this happens, I don't need this a 5-second flat out like.
No. It'll be an actual match. I mean,
I'm not.
It won't be the longest match because I mean it's going to be stuck in the middle of what we're making is an amazing card, but it would get its time.
And
it's not going to be Corbin running out and just boom.
End of days,
1, 2, 3, and it's done in 25 seconds.
Kind of like the Shield did to the New Age Outlaws and Kane that one,
which is great.
It was WrestleMania 32 because the 3 main guys went on for too long. It was like, nope, we're going to come in and wreck house.
Yeah, down on WrestleMania 30 in the old Silverdome. But, okay, so there's my IC.
You would mention that.
I absolutely have.
Even now, we can't forget about that. But
God, no, that's never going to get lived down. But anyways, what do you got?
Let's see. If I had a triple threat, I had a singles. I got a fatal 4-way tag match.
You had the 6-man tag at the end, dude.
Yeah, but shit. Oh, damn. I could do straight up fatal 4-way.
You could.
I feel like that'd be too. No. Give me
I was gonna say, I think the only singles match you have right now is your world title match.
I'm gonna change that world title match.
Well, you got technically it's a singles match, the Divas match, but it's also got the Lumberjills.
No, I'm gonna change that first. Let me change my main event, my world heavyweight title match for a second.
Okay.
It's still gonna be singles, but give me Owens and then give me Corbin on the end of that.
Okay. You think you'll get there by that point?
I think
by 32, 33, or 34?
I think you can play it as he's like the kind of like the Rusev push they're giving him, but now he's just like taking it at this point. It's like he's not just going through guys. He's pretty much attacking like top guys. I'd say he's already taken out Orton. He's already taken out Cena, and he's like, I've beaten world champions already. I'm going to beat the current one now, and he can still have Corey Graves as his manager essentially. So I think
I'm going to shift that hard until the day one of them retires. That Corey Graves needs to manage Baron Corbin. Just throwing that out there.
Well, because we haven't heard Baron Corbin talk much, and when he does, it's very short. So if we need
right now, he doesn't have to, though. He's in that Roman Reigns camp if he doesn't have to. Because he's billed as the badass. I would like him to, though. As you found out with Brock and Paul Heyman, it works well. So, Corey could talk for days, and I'd still listen to him, so...
But yeah, I think it could work. I think Owens is still my champ, but I think he still wins.
Okay.
He still wins. But it shows Corbin can go with the champs now, essentially.
Right.
And I think it'd be a better boost for him. He doesn't win, but then essentially, all right, he gets to the top, but then you have him float the mid-card after a little bit. Just so now you can have him work a bit more, so he gets a little more experience under his belt. Then you eventually have him win like next year or something.
All right.
Well, that's my main event. For now, for the IC match, give me a straight-up singles match. Give me Itami versus Sami Zayn.
All right.
You got Sami Zayn's usually your more like high-flying guy. You take over Itami is more your technical wrestler.
It would work well. Don't get me wrong.
And if you give them the time they need, those guys
they'll tear their house down. I don't dislike it. I don't know. Zayn's in a weird spot for me. I like Sami Zayn, but I don't know. He's hard to place. So he's just kind of weird for me to see.
But I easily see him if he's on the main roster. He's definitely.
Oh, he's definitely. I mean, at worst, he's mid-card champion level, like the upper mid-card. But it's just like I said. He
goes the Jericho route. You can put him in title matches, but then
he's just not going to win many of them.
Essentially. It may be a bad thing to say, but it's actually not a horrible thing. Look at
I was going to say, he's still getting title matches.
I was going to say, look at the career Jericho had. He's one of the most beloved freaking superstars you've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
And then...
I think his last title reign was actually an IC title. Jericho's.
Possibly, which is... The IC title has meant a lot more than the US title, except currently, because you got one of your main guys...
But Cena's working hard at that now.
Oh, he is. And I'm not as much as we like to rant on Cena, he's doing a wonderful job for it.
Absolutely. So, you have... Who'd you say? Itami and Zayn for it?
Yep.
All right.
And I'm going to have Itami come in as champion, Zayn leaves as champion.
Okay. So, my question is now, what's your last match of the night? Well, not... Yeah, theoretically.
I'm not going to lie.
Where we're booking, what's your last match?
It's probably going to be the same. We're probably thinking the same thing because you mentioned it and it was perfect. It's going to be Undertaker versus Finn Balor.
Absolutely. That's exactly where I was going with that one. It works just too well.
The whole... And you had me on the entrances. It's like you're going to see Undertaker... You could see the Undertaker 50 times in a single night as entrance... And it doesn't. It never gets old.
And I can tell you, being there live at WrestleMania, it was chilling.
Oh, I don't
like. You hear the stories of surreal. It is really surreal. To see all that at WrestleMania.
I saw a live event where they didn't have the whole crap, but you hear that bung, and also you just get literally get
chills.
You get goosebumps. I have goosebumps now just thinking of the Taker's entrance, and you hear the Da, 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 da.
All right, you get the music playing,
And you just see him just walk out to the smoke, of the slow steps. You're just like,
and also telling you, being at WrestleMania, seeing Finn Balor's entrance, it's kind of the same thing. The lights go down, you get the music playing,
the heartbeat.
You get the red lights going. It's very similar feeling.
Not to mention
and it would make sense because I guess Taker worked on him with that entrance.
Did he?
So it completely makes sense that you get the same feeling, considering the same man was worked on it.
True. I do like I never watched like All Japan Pro Wrestling and stuff, but I know he used to work a Venom and a Carnage,
Yep.
and he's got a Demon now, and I like the Demon, but I would like to see him.
They call it the Demon because they legally can't use Carnage.
Yeah.
It's literally Carnage. They just can't say it's Carnage.
Well then, at the last NXT special, he had like the Eye of Balor in his back, which is pretty much the Eye of the Demon. But I would like to see him.
They are changing it. Don't get me wrong. I'm just saying, like the red and black, the big mouth that he used mostly now.
The whole tongue.
It is Carnage. Like let's not mince words. It's Carnage. But legally, they can't say, "Oh, it's Carnage," because then they owe Marvel money, and Vince McMahon's cheap.
But I would like to see him, instead of doing the whole red and black, I would like to see him do more of the Venom, I guess.
Go white and black.
Possibly. I'd like to see him do, like, essentially come out trying to not psych the Undertaker out, but more like, yeah, I'm the new you, and I'm gonna prove it tonight, essentially. Kind of.
I would like a mixture of all three. I would like a little black, red, and white. Just get a nice little, not just like teeth-wise for the white, but like mix it into the body a little bit more. Maybe do a little more heavier black, mix in, touches of white and red through it.
Now the question is, since entrances mean a lot to these two guys, who comes out first?
You gotta send Balor out there first. I love Finn Balor, and that entrance is amazing. But it's still the Undertaker we're talking about. At the end of the day, it's still the legend, the man, the one and only Undertaker. You have to send him out last.
See, the problem I have is, like, everyone knows Taker's entrance, essentially. It's the same thing, but you'll watch it a million times, it never gets old. But that's why, it's like, everyone knows, it's like, okay, and then the whole Finn Balor entrance, the whole get up.
That works, and I know where you're going with that. It would have worked better 5 years ago than it would now. Everybody's seen it in NXT. I love where you're going with that, and if it wasn't for Finn Balor being in NXT, I'd say you go that route, because you could have him just come out plain up until WrestleMania, and then at Mania have him come out with a Demon and have the whole show, and it would be great. But people having already seen that in NXT, you gotta kind of go, well, and especially if you're Vince, you're assuming they're watching the network and they're watching NXT, so you gotta go, oh.
Like they're not watching NXT.
Well, but you know what I'm saying. Like, you have to go under the assumption that everybody subscribed to the WWE network is watching your product. So everybody's already seen it. I mean, obviously some of your other fans haven't, but you can't go with the surprise entrance because there's not a surprise there anymore. You know what I mean? Unless you work really hard to get him away from the Demon, starting like after they do this Japan show, then you can get him to bring the Demon back, and it would be more of a surprise. But that's really one of the only ways that works, is if you distance him from his Demon entrance at this point.
Okay, fair enough. So my retort to Matt's, when you have Finn Balor enter first, I'm not completely opposed to that, but I feel like for the whole mind game situation, I think Finn has a more fantastical entrance, if you will. Like I said, you've seen Taker's 1,000 times, and it will amaze you to no end. But you've also seen it. Finn Balor is just something you will probably rarely get to see at WrestleMania. When Taker, you've seen it 20 plus years, and Finn, you probably won't see Finn for 20 plus years. You'll probably see him for 10 plus years. But in all fairness, Taker didn't even have Taker's entrance for all 20 years. You know what I mean? True. Yeah, he did have that whole gimmick where he had the purple gloves and stuff, top hat.
Right. So, I mean, we really haven't gotten the Taker entrance we know and love until the last, 10 years or so. Ever since he came back from the American Badass gimmick. So, you got to take that into account, too. I think he changed, 04, I want to say? Is when he went back to the Dead Man. So, you're looking at the last decade, we've had that specific entrance. I mean, we had Yeah, you had the Ministry entrance, which was good and great in its own right, but this particular entrance was, I mean, there's that.
Okay. We booked one WrestleMania. Honestly, I think any of the cards we put on, anyone will be willing to watch it. I am glad, though, mine did not have John Cena or Randy Orton.
No, you kind of have to, though. You kind of have to.
I'm sorry, didn't you just say last year we didn't necessarily need a John Cena?
I did, and we don't need him. But I'm not saying we need him. But I'm saying we have to because he's still got one of the largest fan bases in WWE, as does Randy Orton. They're still two of your top guys. Leaving them off the card is kind of a shame, unless they're hurt. Like, even if they're in throwaway matches, but they're both in mid-card matches. So it's not like they're in the main event anymore. So their focus is not even... You're not even focusing on them anymore. But they're still there, and you still gotta... You almost have to work them in.
Okay, then... Let me rework them in. This is going to be a throwaway match. Well, let's give two throwaway matches where no one's going to really care. But still add something to it. Give me, on one side, Randy Orton and John Cena in a tag match versus... I'm trying to think what guys you could put them against. Because I didn't use the Usos earlier, so I could put them with the Usos.
You could.
It's like, let's have the two baddest singles competitors team up like they used to do with Rock and Hogan. Or you can even technically do Mick Foley and The Rock when they did Rock and Stock Connection versus a legitimate tag team of the Usos. No, I like that. Let's go with that.
All right.
What about you?
My only question is, how do you get there? What drives Orton and Cena to do this?
Honestly, no, it'd be interesting. Babyface Orton, babyface Cena versus heel Usos.
True, but my point still stays the same. Why is John Cena and Randy Orton going from their amazing singles competitor run to go not down, but away from that to go to the tag team division?
Okay, let's say, honestly, in fairness, this could be a legitimate storyline since one of the Usos was injured. I think it was Jimmy, right? Or Jay?
I don't know. I can't tell the two apart, so I can't tell you.
We're sorry, Usos. I honestly can't either. So, when the other one comes back from injury, they try to go back on the tag team run, and they're floundering. So, okay, they realize at this point Cena doesn't have a title and Orton doesn't have a title. They're just floating around in the mid card at this point. So one of the Usos attacks Orton out of nowhere. So it's like, wait a minute, why is the Uso attacking Randy Orton? Next thing you know, Cena has a match later in the night, and the other Uso attacks John Cena out of nowhere. So then, next following week, Orton and Cena come out together and be like, why did you attack us? And the Usos look at each other, super kick both of them at the same time. I'm not sure how Cena... I know Orton can sell it, I'm not sure how Cena's going to sell it. Yes, I'm ribbing Cena at this point, so kiss my ass, Cena fans. So, they kick him out, they grab the mics, like, we are the best tag team that has ever graced this ring. Alright? Simple promo. And you're still cheering for two singles competitors who haven't been in any title match in the past, 6 months. And they're more over than us? No. Not a chance in hell. And then at that point, just Orton and Cena are kind of baffled, so now they're going to try taking on the Usos. But now, I'm going to take a page out of your book. The Usos are going to dodge them until they get their match. And so it's they want them on their terms. It's like, no, you guys may be the big dogs, but this is our territory. You're going to take us on in our type of match. I would like to see a TLC match where a pinfall or submission gets the victory. It's not often it happens, but I feel like
most generally TLC matches are primarily a ladder match. You got to pull the belt down.
Yeah, but that's why it's pinfall or submission. It's just it's a weird dynamic, but I think it can work. It worked well with
You'd almost be doing a no disqualification match at that point.
Actually, you know what?
It just happened to be tables, ladders, and chairs in the ring.
We haven't seen in a while? A tornado tag match where all competitors. It's pretty much like a fatal 4-way,
yeah.
But they're all free for all. Make a tornado tag match. It's like you guys can be at the ring at the same time, and we'll still beat you because we're that good.
Interesting route to take it. I don't know how well it would work, but it would be an interesting route.
It's pretty much more of a boost for the Usos than it is for Cena and Orton.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I think it can... Let's face it, the last time Cena tagged with someone with Shawn Michaels and they won the tag titles. Honestly, a Cena and Orton tag team is not completely horrendous.
It's not horrendous. It's just... My only question is why you get there. Just because it's such... It's an awkward pairing between the four of them. Because, I mean, you do have the Usos who, when they're both healthy, they were on top of the tag team division. Which is the interesting dichotomy. And then you also have those two in Orton and Cena where, they're doing their thing because they don't really need a title right now. Or at this point, to even be close to relevant. So, I mean, like I said, that's why I was curious how you get there.
Well, it's like, all right. Then you can say one of the two is like, no, they're right. We are kind of flattered. We haven't had a title match in forever. So, when we beat the Usos, we might just go for tag titles. And let's face it, seeing an Orton and Cena tag team...
Can I tell you a way that taking yours I think you can get there better?
Okay, go for it. Please.
Have Cena and Orton, again, not doing anything for at least 6 months. Them both realizing that the state of the WWE right now, they're not really going to get a singles run. There's two log jams, whatever it may be. Not that they're not good enough anymore, but they're just not going to get there anytime soon. So, they both kind of like, well, there's one thing neither one of us have really ever done on a constant basis. We've never been in a tag team. Let's go for those belts. We're both, multi-time. I think both of them have over 10 world championships at this point.
Between the two of them, they probably have over 20.
Well, no, they do. They do have over 20 because Orton would only have to put up 4 on that one. I'm saying both of them separate they're 5 at this point. My bad, but I'm just saying. But I think both of them separately have at least 10. So I mean, you're looking at like 25 to 30 world championships between the two of them. They go, okay, let's go win the world titles. The only time you did it, Cena did it was with Shawn Michaels, and I don't think the only time Orton did it was with Edge. So they go, let's make a legitimate run at this. And have them go that route. And just have the Usos be like one of the last blocks till they get to the world the tag team championships.
Like I said, you turn the Usos heel, because I think that would get a little more...
I don't know if you can turn the Usos heel.
You think?
That's a major overhaul you're going to have to do with them. Major overhaul. It's not just a flip of the switch you can do. I mean, they got the bright colors, they're happy, they're flying. That's the Usos. The only way to change that would be to go dark colors, make them only work groundwork, cut the high flying down to a minimum. I don't know how well that would work.
Well, Kofi's probably the best example of a heel. I mean...
Right, but he's also got Xavier and Big E to do the heavy lifting for him.
Fair enough on that one.
Like, even Kofi as a heel currently, he's more of the I'm so positive and happy that it just makes you want to hate me. Which is what Bo Dallas got over with, but he never got over with it on the main roster because they didn't give him enough time with it. But it's a conversation for
At least he took a rock bottom into people's elbow.
True. That got him a little over.
A little. Not by much.
How amazing is that as a story, though? You go to a live show in Boston and The Rock shows up? What?
I'm not going to lie, I would love to see you in that crowd. You're like, oh my god! It's pretty much...
I freak out. I'm not going to lie. Well, I would freak out. I freaked out at WrestleMania when he came out. And I knew he was coming out.
No offense, that was WrestleMania. There's an atmosphere just like, yes!
It wouldn't matter. If Rock walked through the door now, I would freak out.
If Rock walked through the door, you probably proposed to him.
Not that far. It is legal now, but not that far. He likes pie too much.
The poontang pie?
Oh. Definitely not cherry.
Well, that's Warren's kind of thing. You probably ask him, it's like, hey, can you direct me some good poontang pie? You'd probably be asking him that.
I'll go get training tips from him. I'll go work out with him. Get ripped like The Rock.
Clanging and banging, clanging and banging.
Absolutely.
I'm surprised you don't have that as a ringtone.
They'd get old after a while. Plus, nobody calls me anyways.
Text tone. Clang and banging, clanging and...
But I don't know if I want another throwaway match on my WrestleMania card, though. I don't know if I got room. I got a lot of matches that's going to take up a lot of time.
True. Very true.
And I already worked Cena and Orton in there, so I'm not trying to force them in.
Yeah, I had to force mine in, sadly. I'm just looking forward to the day where my favorites. I loved when Stephanie said that. It's like, where would John Cena be without WrestleMania? It's like, we don't need you at WrestleMania. I'm like, you don't. You really don't. But as John said, it's like he adds value to it. Yeah, but if you make him your main selling point, you're fucked when he retires.
Well, yeah, but that's because you can't base that. I mean, WrestleMania as a whole will never be based around one person. Unless that name is Vince McMahon, because he created it.
Fair enough.
I mean, long and short of it, it is his show. But you still can't even go, even though this guy's my headliner and I'm technically building the show around him, that's 1 year. That's not, we're now getting to the point where you need to rely on this. Which they have in the past years for pretty much every other pay-per-view they use. Except for the Rumble. They pretty much based it around John Cena. They go, here, come watch John Cena. By the way, I got CM Punk and Daniel Bryan and these guys. They're going to be there too, but come for John Cena.
Speaking of pay-per-views, I had a debate with Kyle earlier. Well, not really a debate, but more of like a suggestion. We know WrestleMania is their top-selling pay-per-view. What would you pick as number 2?
It's got to be the Rumble.
Really? You think Rumble? I thought SummerSlam.
I'm pretty sure the Rumble is their second best-selling pay-per-view. Followed by SummerSlam. And then it just gets murky because none of the rest of them sell that well.
I was going to say Survivor Series would usually be number 4.
Well, Survivor Series is your big 4, quote-unquote, but even in the past years, it hasn't even been that much.
It's been falling out for a while now.
Although the year after the Shield debuted, it picked up because of the surprise of the Shield coming out. And they're like, they might do something with Survivor Series again. And then they did nothing.
No, they did something with the whole Authority storyline with Sting showing up and stuff. Let's face it, you cared about that.
That was a couple years after that, though. I mean, they're trying to get Survivor Series back to doing some, mattering again.
Yeah.
But it's not going to happen overnight because it's floundered and nobody cares so long that... Then I would rather see them go back to the original idea of Survivor Series and have every match on the card be a Survivor Series match, and then take... If you want to add this in, you don't have to. But final... take the survivors from every team and put them into one final match at the end of the night.
Just have like a bunch of culminating stories.
Right, because the previous setup, you'd have your captains were feuding.
Yep.
So
they would choose
just off the top of the head. Say it was Hogan and Andre. So we got Hogan and Andre as captains of one team. So Andre picks Demolition to be his team. I don't know why, but okay. So say 2 members of Demolition are feuding with the Road Warriors. So the Road Warriors got on this side because they got a feud going. So you keep that feud going by putting them in the match. And they have another singles match going on. Say Jake and Rick Martel, because I know that was a feud at one point. So say that, but that's how you build every match. But the problem is you'd have to have enough people having actual stories to build those matches. And they're not putting stories in the mid-card anymore. They start doing that, it'll work. Now, they are starting. I can't say that they need to start. They are starting to do that, because we're seeing Ziggler, a non-title holder, feuding with Rusev, who also doesn't have a title. We're seeing, Sheamus and Neville's little rivalry going on. I think they're kind of squashing that now that he's got Money in the Bank, but they need to get more of that just off the titles, too, because it will help out. Just so.
That's one person I left off my WrestleMania card was Adrian Neville.
Yep, I also left Sheamus off mine, but I don't have room for him either. And I don't want to turn another one into a huge multi-man match just for the sake of putting another person on the card.
All right, well,
he'll probably be on the pre-show.
All right, for pre-show, we have for the Andre Battle Royal. Who would you have win it? Let's say.
We're talking a couple years from now?
Yeah, we're talking with the WrestleMania we're just booking. Who would we have win?
Well, there's a few choices you could go. I don't know, that's tough. It doesn't mean much, that's why it's tough. The first one was impressive.
I fucked my matchup. I did. I fucked my U.S. title up.
Why?
I put Ambrose in it when he's my main event.
You are correct. I didn't even think about that. You are correct.
Okay, well...
You had him double booked for the night. Way to go. Way to make Ambrose work even harder than he already does.
Well, that's
rude. It's rude as shit.
It is. So I had Breeze, and I had... I think it was a Tommy? No. What the fuck did I have in it? Holy shit.
I honestly don't remember who you had in your...
No, I had a Tommy, and I had... think I had Tyler Breeze.
Mm-hmm.
I think I had Ziggler. No, I didn't have Ziggler.
No.
Fuck, who do I have? Did I have Neville?
I don't think so.
And then throw in...
I don't know who you got. I can't remember.
That's just going to annoy me now. Shit. That's going to slightly annoy me. Wow, now I'm going to hate myself for this, because it's like, oh yeah, guess what I wrote? Just continue the entire first half of the podcast where Mike fucked up.
Well,
I can't believe we never fucking got that.
I honestly didn't even think about it.
No. I was doing...
But you could always throw some... I don't think you had Neville in there, so you could throw Neville in there.
Yeah, we'll throw Neville.
You could always throw Sheamus in there, because he was also off both of our cards.
No. I don't think I never did a Fatal 4-Way, so no, give me Neville, Breeze.
Well, you did the tag team match.
Oh, I did do the tag team match. Shit. Alright, so, so give me Breeze, Neville, and... Fuck it, throw Ziggler in there. So I'm pretty sure I did not have Ziggler, and I had a Tommy and Zayn going for the IC belt.
Right.
So yeah, give me those.
All right.
There. My card is now officially fixed. I can't believe I did not notice that until fucking almost done. We're almost done with the fucking podcast. Holy shit!
That's all right.
All right. So, who wins the Andre Battle Royal? I'm gonna go with who I haven't used yet.
Or how about...
I had Cesaro in that U.S. match, I think.
You know what? Yeah, you're right. You did have Cesaro.
I had Cesaro, Breeze, and
Ambrose.
Yeah,
we got to take
so
Ambrose out.
we'll add Neville into that, and that adds a whole new dimension.
Okay, but no, I got an idea. A twist for the Andre the Memorial Battle Royal.
Okay.
At the end of the Battle Royal, instead of just winning the Battle Royal, let's say you get a title match.
Later
Later in the night. Let's say it's an IC title match. Or what have you. So let's say, like, for your card, Sami Zayn wins the Memorial Battle Royal. Because I think you had Itami walking in as champion.
Yes.
So say Zayn wins. So he now gets the IC title match later in the night. Which will add a little more prestige to the Battle Royal. But not supersede the Royal Rumble.
So if you win the Battle Royal, you get a mid-card match of your choice. Either...
You could go for either the IC title or the US title.
Okay.
Later in the night.
Actually, I rather like that. Not only do you get the Andre trophy, you get the...
Right.
You get the...
You get a title match at WrestleMania for it.
Plus, it also...
Which will help put guys over in the future.
Not to mention, it adds a little more spontaneity to the WrestleMania.
Right.
Which, honestly, you can always use a little... Not tweaking, but use a little...
It's not that the issue hasn't been with spontaneity in the matches wise. It's been more of just the lackluster stories going in, and they're not using a lot of the WrestleMania matches to end stories. It's continuing them. Like, look at Brock and Triple H not that long ago. That was the second match of their 3. Really? That should probably end the match. End the feud. Like, wow. I don't understand why we're carrying feuds through Mania. Like, have that, it doesn't have to be a definitive endpoint, like they're never going to go again. But give them 6 months off. Give them, work it towards next year's WrestleMania, or work it towards, Rumble or something. But you don't have to, I don't need to see it drag out through the next 3 months after post-Mania.
Kind of like they did with Roman and Brock. It's
right. They were like, all right, it's going to end, not permanently, we're going to get back to it, but for now, it's, we're moving it to the side. It's an issue I have with WrestleMania.
Fair enough. Yeah, that's one of the few problems. It's like some of the stories they need to fix too for creative. All right, so
well, like what stories are you talking about? You need to be fixed.
Like currently?
Well, yeah, like if you were to put your input on the current stories that we get, the current feuds we have going on now. What don't you like about them? What are you get changing?
Well,
pros, cons, like that kind of stuff. Like what's...
Honestly, I'm liking there's things I like about it, and there's things I don't like about certain stories. Like, for example, the Roman Reigns and Bray Wyatt. I like how Bray Wyatt is getting into Roman's personal life now, and it's like really just like picking at Roman's mind. It's really playing mind games with him, and honestly, that dimension to it is wonderful. But there's no feedback from Roman right now, and I'm not sure if that's actually going to benefit in the long run, or if it's...
Well, they're getting there, though. I didn't think it was going to go past Battleground, but the way it's playing out, I think this is going to be a SummerSlam feud. And I think as this moves on, we're going to get more out of Roman Reigns. Right now, it's that tough, I'm a tough guy, I don't have feelings, blah, I'm just going to keep going. But it's slowly wearing away. Like, his reactions on SmackDown, where he's chasing, running through the halls trying to find him, or it was either that or Raw.
I think it was last week's
I'm not
Raw.
sure. But either way, he's running through trying to find, Bray, and Bray keeps just taunting him with with his daughter, and it's an interesting twist for Bray, too, because he's bringing the whole, I got daddy issues, too, but just because my parent, or my father wasn't there for me, why should your daughter have her father? Like, it's a weird dichotomy. It's going into a little more psychological, and I don't know how well it's going to overall play, but
that's my point.
I think the further we go, the more we're going to get Roman Reigns just being a big rage fury monster. Just start tearing apart. And I think it's going to unlock something else in Roman to ultimately help out in the future.
Okay.
Like, basically he's going to go Hulk smash.
Kind of like Brock Lesnar does nowadays?
Yeah, but it's going to be more fueled. And it's going to allow him to go back to that place he was at WrestleMania, where it was a brutal, down-home, back-alley, dirty brawl. And I think that would play well, because they need a little more physicality.
Well, what was it? If you remember Raw, the end to Raw, Roman gets his ass literally whooped, and he's still taking down Seth Rollins.
Right, and that's a beautiful... That's going back... That's why I'm saying I think this is going to help Roman in the long run, because it's going back to Mania, where he did get 3 F5s, and he still kicked out, and he still kept coming. And he started the smiling and the laughter, and do you really think this is really, really going to keep me down? It's a nice run. I don't know how hard they're going to build on that, because you go too hard, you make him unstoppable like they did Brock. And right now, it's hard to see anybody beating Brock other than Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns right now looks like his equal.
And that's the one problem I had with Brock being taken out. At least they made him look out, okay, yeah, we hit your leg, and now we're just going to work on it, But
what if they make because I haven't done this with Brock, because he's got Paul Heyman, mainly, I feel. What if they make Roman's issue, the chink in the armor, is his family? Is when you go after his family. Is when you go psychologically after him and start taunting him and get him to that angry place, he starts making mistakes. What if that's his chink in the armor that they start building on? Roman, yeah. Because they've got him built so strong. What if that's the place where you have to basically put him on offense, but he's so angry that when he gets on offense, he's not thinking anymore? What if that's his issue? Like, that's his kryptonite right now. I think it would be an interesting way to go. Because no longer can you beat Roman physically, but you can start beating him mentally.
Okay, I see your point.
You know what I'm saying? So maybe Roman loses at Battleground this year, this coming pay-per-view. He loses there, but it's because Bray keeps taunting, and he gets so angry that he starts going for stupid things. Like, he starts going over the top rope more, and he starts doing these unnecessary things trying to inflict more pain, when in reality he's just hurting himself and hurting his chances.
Gotcha, I see what you're saying. So he's eventually becoming blind with rage, where he won't even care if he gets disqualified at this point.
Right, and it starts losing him matches, and that's how you start beating Roman Reigns.
Okay. All right, fair.
If they go that route. I don't know if they're going to. I mean, obviously.
All right, fair enough. What other stories we got going? I think Cena and Owens is pretty good the way it is. It's pretty much just like, Owens is pretty much dangling Cena's respect in front of him. He's like, yeah, you want me to respect you, give me your damn title shot.
I want to see Owens go more heel.
What do you mean by going more heel? Because now I'm curious, because how is he
Well, he's working heel, but he's working heel towards Cena fans right now. It's starting to change, especially with him being on commentary. This past Raw.
Oh, that was just great.
It is great, but it was great heel work because he was being annoying and just degrading, and it worked well because you're like, even me, I'm loving me all Kevin Owens, everything he's doing, but in the moment I was even like, wow, you're kind of a douche, like, really, guy? But that's a beautiful thing, like, that's what you need to bring out. And I think that's what he needs to start working more. And if he keeps going that route, it'll work better. Because you're no longer going to get the hipster fans, the internet, the indie fans, or whatever you want to call
Internet
them.
darlings.
The IWC people, whatever you want to call them. You're not going to get them cheering Owens because he's going to be so annoying and so douchey that they can't even condone it. Which, ironically, you should cheer more, but that's it's the love-hate relationship you have with heels in the wrestling business.
Okay,
you still have Ziggler. You have the whole Ziggler, Lana, Rusev.
I want to know how that's going to work out, honestly.
I'm not sure.
Because can Lana even wrestle?
I'm willing to give her a shot.
Can she be any worse than some of the Bellaton main event
Nope.
on the current roster?
She can't be any worse than like Rosa Mendez or Oksana. So and we suffered through that. So, and it'll probably be a mixed tag match by the time Rusev gets back, anyways. So we could get Rusev and Ziggler to carry the match, and that'll be a nice little blow off.
All right.
I don't see how much farther they're going to run with it.
I was going to say either Lana turns back heel or something.
I don't see that happening though, because they seem like they're setting up Summer Rae to be that. So, I just don't know what they do with Lana afterwards. I would like, again, going back to the manager role, I'd like to see her, start up a start up a family.
Well, technically you can say faction.
But they're not really a faction, because a faction works as a team. And while they could work as a team, I'd rather see her, I guess, it's a hard word. Other than family, it's hard to come up with. Like, her stable of wrestlers, let's put it that way.
Alliance.
They're not yeah, that would be better. But, because they're not really a team, but they're all working under her, so if need be, we could do that. Plus, it would help out because some of Hogan's best work back in the late 80s, early 90s was going against Heenan's family.
Oh, true.
He would run through the family and then get to whoever the top guy was. One major one was Andre.
He went through everyone just to get to Andre, and then that culminated at WrestleMania 3.
Right, and it works because they tried to do it with Goldberg. He punched through a window in a limousine, cut his hand, and then that fell apart. That's why the finger poke of doom is so terrible. I mean, they did it with Austin and The Rock. They had the corporation set up, and Austin ran through the corporation all year long. Then by WrestleMania time, got The Rock. It works. Repeatedly, it works. It worked with Austin and Michaels. He rolled through DX.
Oh, yeah.
And the New Age. Because they weren't part of DX at that point. They didn't become until after 14. But that's neither here nor there.
They were DX-esque, we'll say.
They were with them, but they weren't with them. Because, again, they didn't get inducted into DX until I think it was either the next night on Raw after WrestleMania 14 or the week after that. I think it was that night, because I think LOD was in the main event that night of Raw, and they attacked them. But I digress.
That'd be interesting. Plus, Lana seems like the type that could, I don't necessarily say run/manage, but it seems like she can, I guess, hold authority. She seems like she can do that.
She can get heat, though. She's a good heater. But what I would like to see is her set up, and this is purely my fanboy love and my markishness for Dolph Ziggler. Have Ziggler stay with her for a while. Have her start building a family. But have it
built around Ziggler?
No, well, yes and no. But have it be the ascension she gets. Have it be, Bodell. These guys that are like...
floundering?
No, they're...
Oddities?
When you turn them face, it almost works, but they look like they're heel. So you're waiting for them to go heel, and then turn on Ziggler. Like, have her get 6 or 7 guys.
Ooh.
And then, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, all these guys hit the ring and just decimate Ziggler. And Ziggler's going to be like, the next week, be like, what happened here? We were working well. And she's like, well, you're just not that good. You're never going to go anywhere. I'm settling myself up to guy A. whoever guy A happens to be, whether it be a Kevin Owens or whether it be, whoever it may be.
Would you break your back with Rusev or no?
You could, if you wanted to go that route. Depends where Rusev is at that point, too. Maybe you do go back to Rusev. That'd be an interesting twist back onto it. Because now, all of a sudden, I would want the family to look better wrapped around whoever you're going to make that feud go with. But then, you have Ziggler, maybe from a SummerSlam to WrestleMania, run through the family. It starts, he's got to go with the lowest guy and just slowly work his way through until he gets through everybody in the family, and then he finally gets where he's going to get to that guy.
Now, you mentioned Ascension, Bo Dallas. Who else would you probably try to throw in there? If you want to get
I don't know if I'd put them in there, but I'm just I probably would throw the Ascension in there. They could, if you turned them face, it would be an awkward thing, but since you're doing a quick heel turn back, I would be okay with it. Maybe get a couple heavies like Rowan and Harper if you're going to do that instead too. Just trying to think. Maybe make that guy Sheamus, just quick. That's going to be centerpiece. Maybe make that guy Sheamus. But maybe bring in a kid in Cesaro or something like that, or or get a couple NXT guys. Get the Dawkins and Sawyer, who they're not big right now, but if you put them in there and gave them work, I think it could work. Because they're bigger versions of the world's greatest tag team. You've seen those guys, haven't you?
I thought that was supposed to be
JJ and TD. No.
Yeah.
Dawkins. I just said Hawkins. Dawkins and Sawyer are literally both about 6'3", 230.
I'm going to have to go back and watch NXT.
It was last week or the week before. I think it was last week. They were on. And I've seen these guys live. I watched them wrestle at Access against the Vaudevillains. They can get heat, especially Sawyer. Sawyer played well with the crowd. Because the crowd starts in, while we were at Access, who are you, and chants and stuff like that. And he's like, you're going to find out who I am. Great heat. I haven't seen him pick up a mic, but he played with that crowd really well. I think it would work well. I don't think they're going to stay a tag team that long because of their size. And Dawkins can move so well in the ring. He is so athletic. It's amazing. Go watch him. But I'm just saying, guys like that, you could stick in there. That you could see Ziggler beating. You know what I mean, too? One-on-one. I could see him beating all of them. But it would just be an interesting way to go.
Would you rather reverse that situation where I'm trying to think of a Neville and a Sheamus feud where Sheamus decides he's going to get more, or he teams up with somebody. Because Sheamus like a Becky Lynch, and then she starts doing things for him, or
you could do that. I'm just saying, the idea in general is what I was basically just talking about. But that I think it would work with Ziggler, because I think Ziggler, if he keeps his mouth shut, we'll get to the main event again. But he's going to need an extra push to get there right now. Especially since they were looking towards the D-Bry-Ziggler feud. And that's not going to happen because Bryan's not coming back.
More than likely, right?
Well, from everything I'm hearing, it's concussions, and they're not going to let him back in. So that kind of left him as a man out of place. But that's a short-term way to push him back to the main event.
All right, so one quick closing argument. Since you brought up D-Bry and he's probably gone, does that mean we finally get rid of Bella too? Eventually, probably.
I think she's gone sooner rather than later, but I think both Bellas are gone. I don't see a place. As soon as we start getting more of these NXT divas up, I don't see a place for the Bellas. I don't see a place for them. I don't see a place for Rosa. I don't see a place for a lot of those girls that were sports models first, turned divas, but they never really got trained. That whole you know what I'm saying? That section of the group. Alicia Fox is athletic enough that she could probably hang on, but a lot of those old guard divas, I don't see them.
Who would you keep from current roster? Paige and Emma aside, essentially. Or
you got to keep Natty, but she's not wrestling either. So maybe she works a manager role. I could deal with that, but. Again, I don't see, other than Alicia Fox, maybe Naomi and Cameron. Maybe. They're both athletic enough they can get the job done.
Layla?
She doesn't wrestle anymore, though.
True.
When's the last time you seen Layla even on TV, let alone wrestle?
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Like, I don't know what she's doing. I don't know if she's, like, training the girls or what's going on there. But I would love to see her back, don't get me wrong. But I don't see many divas sticking around. That's becoming a dying breed. And that's because
women that can't wrestle, or
yeah, well, it's the sports model turned wrestler, purely because they're a sports model. Like, I mean, I know Trish did it, but it also took her so many years to get that level, and it was such a dedication to get to that level. And we're getting to a point where we got women now who are that beautiful that they could be models, but they love the business because they watch Trish and Lita and Victoria and Tori Wilson, who may not be great, but they watched all these women wrestle and do really well, but they're beautiful at the same time.
Molly Holly.
Right. Like, you weren't looking at, Wendy Richter or, God bless her soul, Fabulous Moolah or Mae Young. Like, they weren't all that beautiful, to be honest with you. Like, maybe Moolah back in the, Stone Age when she wrestled. But she was, she looked good, but she doesn't hold the candle to Trish Stratus. Like, it's a change.
Blaze.
Right, but that's what I'm saying. Like, it's a changing breed. You're not getting these, I don't want to say it, but butch women. You're not getting these huge, just muscle-bound.
China's.
Yeah, you're not looking like, it's not looking like China when she first came in. In all fairness, China looked like a man when she first came into the WWF. But you're not getting those women anymore.
She doesn't look any better now. That's for damn sure.
No comment. But I'm just saying, like, you're starting to get more of the women that look like models, but love the business and are dedicated to the business enough to learn the trade. Like Sasha Banks.
Becky Lynch, Charlotte, Paige, Emma.
Well, I use Sasha purely because you look at where she first came in. She wasn't anything special when she first came in. She was beautiful. She's always been beautiful. But she couldn't wrestle her way out of a wet paper bag. You look at her now, she's one of the best women's wrestlers in NXT. That's saying something. But she also wanted to be a WWE superstar since the age of, 12. There's a story she told where she said she missed, I think it was her grandfather's funeral.
Yeah, to watch
SmackDown. This is SmackDown. And it wasn't even great SmackDown. We're not talking about 99 SmackDown or 2000 SmackDown. We're looking it was still really good, don't get me wrong, but we're looking to 02, 03 area. It's not the greatest, for me.
We're looking at the fall of SmackDown, essentially, where Paul
Heyman... It dipped. It was a dip. It was before...
Heyman
I think it was before Heyman really got going with it, because we were still transitioning out of the invasion and all of that. And it was... I think it was the original split of Vince and Ric Flair. So... But... it was just... that's dedication. That's love of the business. Can you tell me Nikki or Breese is going to do that? I doubt it, because they didn't even they're not a fan of the business. Hard time believing Cameron is, too, but hey, that's... Her favorite match is, whatever, Alicia Fox and Melina, or whatever it was.
Yeah, Melina versus him, that's all I remember.
Still sickens me, I'm not going to lie. But
Stone Cold's like, what did you say? Of all the matches you could have seen, that's your favorite.
Not even a specific one, just a throwaway Raw match.
No, I know a better Divas match back when...
Any of them?
I was going to say the night Trish and Lita closed Raw.
Mm-hmm. Or the night that Trish and Victoria had a street fight.
Cage match.
Street fight. That was a better match.
No, I'm saying they also had a cage match.
Yeah, no, I'm saying, but the street fight was a better match.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
And it was more entertaining. You had Stevie Richards in there, too.
God, I missed. I'll give the Attitude Era fanboys, whatever, one thing. The women could go.
But that was also that was after women's wrestling died already. You got to remember that period. That was Sable almost single-handedly bringing that back. Because you look at it at that point, when Alundra Blaze dropped the title in the trash, Vince didn't bring back a WWE Women's Championship.
For about 5 years, I think it was.
I think she dropped it in the trash in, 94 or something like that?
Somewhere near there.
And he doesn't bring that back until Sable gets it in 98. So there's a few years in there where there's no women's wrestling on Raw. You don't have any. And Sable comes back. She's the strong, beautiful, the template for what we have now. And it brings it all around. Not that she could really wrestle either, but compared to what we had, I mean, of nothing, it was better.
She brought back
But then we got your Ivories and Jackies.
Chyna's.
And Chyna came in, and Chyna, she had her work overdone physically. She started going. She's groundbreaking in her own right. First woman to hold the IC title.
First woman to enter the Royal Rumble.
Mm-hmm. That's groundbreaking.
Oh, absolutely.
There was also a rumor at one point she was going to win the WWE title, the world title.
Honestly, with her, I wouldn't put it past her. I felt like she could beat half the guys in the fucking roster at the time. And that's Attitude Era. You had Rock, Austin, Jericho.
I want to say yes, but she was way too outgunned on that one.
No, doesn't mean she could.
It would have been impressive, but way too outgunned.
True. At that point, she'd be a female Brock Lesnar.
Kind of. But, I mean, I don't know. It's interesting to go.
Then eventually you had your Victorias.
Right, and
Litas.
that's where the end of 99, 2000 is where you get Trish, and where Lita pops up, and then Victoria pops up, and Molly Holly pops up, and you get all these great women's wrestlers. It's a golden age now, though. We have better.
Well, technically we had a Bronze Age, thanks to, Cameron.
What we're looking forward to right now is a golden age of women's wrestling, and you can count NXT as the start of that.
Oh, absolutely.
Because in the not-too-distant future, we're going to have Charlotte, we're going to have Sasha, we're going to have Becky Lynch.
Bayley.
Bayley's going to be up. Dana Brooke is not the most technically profound women's wrestler in the world, but she gets heat like nobody's business, and is still better than both Bellas. There are a bunch of girls that can go.
And if she can't go now, it's like she hasn't.
I was going to say, she's also pretty new, too, so I mean...
Give her time, and she'll pick it up.
A year into the future, she probably can go.
True. And then whatever divas they bring up, eventually train even more, and then bring up.
Absolutely.
Because I'm going to say, because right now, NXT is diva light right now. It doesn't have many divas. From perspective for the main roster.
But they do. What do you mean by divas, though? What are you saying they don't have divas?
I'm saying to me, it seems like they have very few, main event divas right now, if you ask me. The only main event divas I see right now are Sasha, I wouldn't even say, I can say Becky. Sasha, Becky, Bayley, and Charlotte are the four main girls. But then you have...
Right, they're all the main girls. But Dana Brooke's getting pushed in a feud with Charlotte. So she's not going to be she's not far behind. Emma is kind of floundering, but I think she needs to get away from this whole heel gimmick she's doing. Because that's just not working at all.
Oh, it's working horribly.
But I mean, Carmella's coming up and about. You're getting more girls that are slowly coming in. But the issue is we got to get rid of some of the girls that we have that are suffering them. They're stuffing them at the top. Like Sasha and Charlotte and Bayley, who have been there for the last 3 years. They're ready. I don't know what they're waiting on, but they're ready.
All right, we're about an hour and 45 minutes from this podcast. I think that's where we call it quits, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us for the Work in Progress. I am Mike Rooker. You can follow me at Maverick Rooker. Yes, I got it right this time.
It's about time.
And where can we find you, Matt?
Find me at mshiz90 on Twitter. Please, feedback on all the WrestleMania cards, everything we had to say here.
Yeah, and also, if you feel like it, send some questions in. Maybe.
Absolutely. We'll answer a few of your questions.
Yeah, send us some scenarios. What do you think about blah, blah, blah? What did you think if Stone Cold faced Lesnar at WrestleMania 32? Short answer, Stone Cold's going to end up in a fucking wheelchair if he asks me. If he's Suplex City will do nothing for him.
Wow.
It's not the Vacation in Paradise.
He would have avoided the suplexes, but it's an argument we could have on a later podcast.
Shit like that, all right? Y'all have a good night now.